I'll show you how you can create your own proof in the ICS Remote Director user interface. As I said, Remote Director was officially released by ICS very recently, and the user experience of this version is completely different from any of the previous versions. The biggest change is that everything happens within the browser, and you will be seeing that shortly. Now, assume for a second that as a publisher or as a printer, you invite someone to a proof. Then that user, that client, will receive a first email inviting them to Remote Director, and by clicking on the link in that email, they will be able to select their own password, so that from that point on they can log into the system and work with proofs. This is something that they will need to do only once. Secondly, once that particular user has an account on Remote Director, they will receive an invitation to the proof that you have invited them to, and in that invitation email you'll see a link that says click here to view the project, and by simply clicking on that link, you go to your web browser. Remote Director works with all major web browsers, both on the Mac and on Windows. You go to the web browser and you end up at a very simple login screen. The email address that they have used to register with, or that you have invited them with, needs to be filled in, and then the user needs to fill in their password. Remember, this is the password that they themselves set up using the original invitation email to set up a client account with Remote Director. Fill in that information, you click on the login button, and from that point on, Remote Director goes directly to the project that you have invited them for. So instead of coming into the general or generic Remote Director user interface, the link guides them directly to the project that they received an invitation for. And as you can see in this particular project, I have two different images that are displayed, and I see already one of those images in my window. I can simply click and drag to view that image, and I have controls at the bottom to zoom out, zoom in, and so on. In this interface, I have next to the zooming tools and the tools to move between the different images in the project, I have a number of other tools that I can use. And let me zoom so that I can see the whole image and show you some of the tools that those people will have available. First of all, rotate allows you to rotate that image 90%, and I can go all the way around. This might not be very interesting for this particular type of image, but it is definitely interesting when you're looking at, for example, a 4-page signature where some of the content is upside down. Zooming can happen either to fit the image within the available window, or I can simply zoom to as far as I want. The display technology used by Remote Director makes sure that zooming is very smooth and quickly. It is basically a pixel on demand method that they are employing. And as you can see, everything happens within the browser. At no point does your client need to go outside the browser window or install separate software next to the browser or anything like that. In fact, the only things that are required are a Flash plugin, and normally Flash is very available on all computers worldwide, more or less. And there also is a viewer plugin that allows this type of preview within the web browser. If that viewer plugin is not installed, when the user clicks on that invitation email, there will be a pop-up that tells them that they need the plugin, and there will be an automatic download and installation procedure once they agree. So that part as well is very, very convenient for the users that have been invited to the proof. Let's look at the other tools. I have a calibration tool so that I can start a calibration procedure for my screen. Depending on how the proof is created, it may be so that I need a calibrated screen, or it may be so that I do not. In this case, I created the proof without requiring calibration. So I can view it on any screen. I'm looking at this on a simple MacBook computer in this case. But if I require people to do calibration, then this tool here will allow them to start that procedure. Total ink warning doesn't do much on this particular file, but shows me a colored overlay of those areas of the file, of the proof, that are over the ink limit that I set. Likewise, and that will give you an example of how that total ink warning looks, likewise I have a tool that shows me a gamut warning, and in this case this signifies that much of the yellow color that I see in this proof is much of the yellow color that I see in this proof is outside of the gamut of the particular monitor that I am using to show this proof. So it is in fact simulated on this monitor. I can see that some of you have questions. Christian specifically, let me answer questions at the end of the webinar so that we can do this a little bit orderly. So, gamut warning. I have a measurement tool available that allows me to click somewhere, measure a distance, and shows me what the length and the area is of a particular part of the image. And it stays there so that I can release the mouse and see what the data is. And also very interesting, I have a compare tool, and if we zoom out and let's highlight the car in what we're seeing. What I'm seeing now is two different images in the project that I'm looking at, and now I have three additional tools that help me compare those images. Let me start by this one. This highlights what is different between the two files, and in this particular case you can see that the color of the car was manipulated in one of the images, and this overlay color, and I can actually set what the color should be that is used for the overlay. This overlay color shows me what has changed between those two images. Alternatively, I can mask out what is the same, and in this case I have used black as a masking color, but again you can set the color that you want, and the masking is applied to all of those areas of the proofs that are equal. So the only thing that you see in the original color is the things that are the items that are different between the two images. There is one additional way to look at the proof, and I am not sure how much of that you are going to see through this web broadcast, but if I start a flash comparison, then basically the two images are going to be flashed on the right hand side of the screen. So alternatively you see alternately you see the one image and the other one, and that makes it in most cases very easy to visually see where those differences are.